Hey everybody, and welcome to another Cricut Craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button down below. I would love to have you as part of my crafty family here on YouTube. In today's video, we are going to do a new tutorial with the Cricut Joy. I don't use this nearly as much as I should, and you guys really wanted some more Joy content, so I'm going to give you a couple new videos. This is number 1 on some of our Joy videos. And in today's video, we are going to use the Cricut brand Smart Vinyl. Again, you guys know I'm not a huge Cricut vinyl fan, but this is so much easier than trying to cut down my vinyl to fit, and I've really not had a lot of luck getting the Joy to cut other branded vinyl. I'm going to keep working on that and hopefully eventually be able to give you some information on how to do that. But like I said, I haven't really used it very much since I got it, so I'm going to try to do that for you guys. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to cut a really long cut with your Cricut Joy. This is, I believe, 42.5 inches long, and it's really, really fun. This was super easy to do, and it only took about 15 minutes to cut this entire big design. You can see it's really big, and I'm super excited about it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I really thought it was fun, and it's a really fun thing to teach you guys to do on the Joy. The Joy can cut way longer in a continuous cut than the Maker or the Explorer can, but keep in mind the Joy can only cut 4.5 inches wide, and it can cut up to 20 feet long, with that being 4 feet of a continuous pattern. So if that doesn't make sense, I'll try to explain it a little bit better down in the description for you guys, but you just need to keep in mind that that 20 feet just needs to be kind of all the same 4-foot length of pattern. So let's go over to Design Space, and I'll show you how to set this up. This is a design from Cricut Design Space, so if you like it, you can use it on any of your machines, and I just repeated it a couple times to make this. So let's get started. Cutting on the Cricut Joy is super easy, but again, it is limited in its width that it can cut, and it can only cut up to 4.5 inches wide. So I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger just because I want to take up as much space as I can. I'm actually just going to make it like 4.3 inches wide, and then what we'll do is you can either duplicate this a couple times on your mat, but sometimes that can slow Design Space down because we've got 48 inches of vinyl that we can use. So what I'm going to do is click Make It, and I know that I can probably fit 5 or 6 of these. So what I'm going to do is click Apply. I changed up here where it says Project Copies, and I just changed it to 6, and I clicked Apply, and it says that I can do 42.75 inches long. I think if I go 7, I think it's going to be too much. So let's try it because you can always undo it. Yeah, if I do 7, it's going to take 49.75 inches, and that's too much. So we'll go ahead and do 6 of these. So what you can see is that it's going to cut this all in a continuous pattern all the way down, and it shows you your entire mat. Now remember, we're using the Smart Vinyl, so we can cut this without the mat. You probably can do other materials. I haven't really had a lot of great luck using my Joy with some of the other materials. I haven't really played with it a lot, but I wanted to show you how quick and easy it was if you wanted to cut a really long continuous project. And this can cut up to 20 feet in length of a continuous project. I believe it's up to 4 feet in length of the same design, and then you can continue that pattern up to 20 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. And my Joy should be on, and now that it's connected, it's going to ask us what we're using here, and we're using the Smart Vinyl Permanent, so we'll go ahead and select that. And then just like when you use your Maker or your Explorer, it tells you what tools to make sure that you have, and we have the fine point blade and the clamp, and it tells us to load our material into the machine. So I'm going to take you guys over to the Joy so that you guys can see how easy it is to load, and then I'll let you guys watch it cut. It's really, really quick, even with some of these more detailed items, especially because it's cutting a lot smaller. So let's go over to the machine so I can show you how to do it. So what we have here is our Cricut Joy. You can see right here that we have the clamp, just one single clamp in the Joy, and that has our fine point blade in, and then we're using the Cricut Joy Smart Vinyl. If you guys want to know, I think this is coral, but don't quote me on the color. Yes, coral. Now, I will say that I'm not a huge fan of the price of this vinyl. It is expensive, and I don't love that. But it is fine. It's pretty much easier than using any of the off-brands. So what you're going to do, see how it's it senses that I've got vinyl near, and then it senses that I don't. This one doesn't require you to press any buttons. You just put your vinyl in, and it will feed it in itself. And now it's going to measure out my vinyl. And you want to make sure that behind your machine is clear of anything, especially when doing these long mats. So it's measuring our vinyl right now, and it's going to pull our vinyl right back in, and my cord's a little bit tangled, so I'll make sure to keep that out. Now that it's measured everything, we'll need to go back over to the computer to tell it that we're ready to cut. Unlike when you use your Maker or your Explorer, with this one, you need to click the Go button on your computer screen to get it to start cutting. So we'll go ahead and click. Again, as is different from your Maker or your Explorer, you need to come over to your computer and click the unload button. Once you do that, it will unload the vinyl from your machine. Now that we've unloaded, we can go ahead and start weeding. I'm going to slide the Joy out of the way because this is pretty long. Like you can see, this is really long. So I do have some leftover down here at the bottom. There's not a lot, but I'll go ahead and trim it off because you can always use these little bits for, you know, other projects. So what I'll do is I usually just give it a little snip so I can see kind of where I can cut. And because this has a grid on the back, I'll usually just use the grid to get a straight-ish line because you want to make sure that your Cricut Joy vinyl is cut straight because of how it loads. So you just want to make sure you have it straight. Now what we can do is start weeding, and this is not always really easy with a super long design like this. So I'm going to start down here at the end. I'm just using a pin pen. And I'm going to go ahead and peel this up, and you'll see. Now I will say I love their smart vinyl compared to their regular vinyl. Their smart vinyl is much better quality than their regular vinyl. And it actually does stay on the carrier sheet, unlike the regular stuff that they sell. So if you're looking for a decent-ish Cricut vinyl, and you have to use Cricut vinyl, the Smart Vinyl's okay. Still not my favorite. I still would choose any other vinyl over Cricut, but because I don't feel like cutting mine down, I find that to be super annoying. I just decided to use the Smart Vinyl that I bought when I bought my Cricut. So again, you just need to kind of carefully weed away all your pieces. So I'll go ahead and finish weeding this, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. Alright guys, here it is all done, and it is about 42.5 inches long, so you can see it's super duper long. I will say, and I'm sure you could see, that I did struggle a lot weeding this, which is really disappointing. I've only used my Joy maybe 6 times, so it's not an old blade or anything like that. A lot of times it really is just the vinyl. It could also be just a design space flaw. But honest to God, you guys, I've used Cricut vinyl a zillion times, and it's just not one I recommend in any way, shape, or form. But I will say this is pretty cool, and if you are looking for something that will cut a really, really long decal, the Joy is the way to go if you're okay with it only being 4.5 inches wide, which is kind of a bummer, but it can be done, so just keep that in mind. They can cut up to 20 feet, so maybe if you wanted to use it for a border or something around a room, this would actually be really cool. Or like a really long banner, this would be fun as well. But personally, the Joy just isn't what I use a lot. Even for a larger project, I'll usually just make them in multiple pieces on my Cricut Maker or my Explorer. But if you guys have any questions on using your Joy, feel free to put those down below. You guys said you wanted to see some more tutorials using it, so I'm definitely going to do those for you. But if you're looking for something specific on how to use the Joy, just let me know. I'm more than happy to help you guys and to make some more videos for you. If you guys have any crafting questions whatsoever, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Be sure you hit the big red subscribe button down below as well. It's totally free to subscribe to my channel, and I would love to have you as part of my crafty family here on YouTube. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and happy crafting!